Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the case may be, wherever you're tuning in from, whether it be a mountain in Kashmir, like it seems like I'm tuning in from, whether it be the sands of Dubai with Ben, where usually Mo's tuning in from Wales, but he's by the coast today, Southampton, all places, and of course Keith down in South London, West London.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Okay. No problem.
I claim West London when I see people, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know.
These
But
days,
yeah, people, welcome back to another episode of Red Fellas. Red Room. I beg your pardon. Maybe that's a hint. Eyes emoji and all that. We're here to talk about Liverpool Football Club, our favorite football club, our favorite topic, or is it our favorite topic? I'm going to get into it because it's pissing a lot of people off. Some more than others. Looking at you over there, Ben. Some less than others. Looking at you over there, Keith. And some in between, like me and Mo. We're just going with the flow. Me and Mo going with the flow. But don't worry, I'll get Mo at some point in the show as well. I always do. Ben, I'm going to come to you because you're next to me always and always come to you naturally. How are you, man? Like, it's a weird time right now, Ben. Honestly, it's a weird time. So we're into sort of January now. Obviously, we are into January now, right? We've got Champions League starting back up. We've got the FA Cup coming back up. And we've got Arsenal on the horizon. Now, people have talked about our fixtures being easy and this and that. But this is the litmus test to see if... So to all the people that are saying... And there are people... on both sides, many sides actually, but let's just say the people are saying, oh, there's an improvement, and there's people that's not improvement. Well, my God, we're going to get tested on Thursday, aren't we, lad?
Yeah, well, it's their litmus test as well, isn't it? You know, they're playing the champions of England, so they're going to be right up for it. You can see all the big hoo-ha. They want to bring out shit flag tifos, that's probably on a slant again and all that crap. But yeah, no, it's not a good time to be a Liverpool fan, mate. It's been a tough year. Well, it's a tough year. It's only been fucking 7 days and it's been tough. Do you know what I mean? No, it's... look, regardless whoever's slot in, slot out, whatever. For Liverpool Football Club, this is not good enough. It's just not. Especially when, you know, I expect a bit more this year, Chris. You know, for Diogo Jota's memory alone, do you know what I mean? I think we should have been doing a lot more. We've rolled over. But look... It's also very Liverpool-like to go there and just cause carnage. And that's what we've got to do, Chris. Liverpool, if I dare see Liverpool just fall away and be embarrassing, we may as well shut the doors on the season, mate. As simple as that. But they've got to go there, show who they are, and let's see.
Our very own Lewis is in the building. Beyond the Cop, he says, smash the likes and subscribe, lads and lasses. He's forgot the lasses as well. There's lads and lasses in here. But he's right. Smash the likes and subscribe if you haven't. Hanif says, Grizz, have you closed your channel? I might as well in it, bro, but I haven't. It's I'm just biding my time, and I'm gonna come back real strong with a vengeance. Let me tell you that. I have got a few ideas and plans in place, but I've been saying it. No more talking. No more talking, Mo. No more talking like Liverpool. It's what's the word? Do or die now. It's at that stage of the season. Probably, of course, more for slot. And we're going to get into all the conversations and the debates around social media. But for the players as well, Mo, like, you guys know that I'm very fair in my criticism. I'd like to think I am, where I don't always blame one entity. The players have to take a lot of the blame as well, Mo.
Yeah, definitely. The professional pride, playing for the badge. That's what I think most fans. If we were going out week in, week out and drawing 0-0 or drawing 2-2 or just losing by skin of our teeth, but really peppering the goal and putting our effort and making it entertaining, then players running and giving every yard, I think fans will be fine with that. But because we're not doing that and we're getting these shit results, that's where it stems from. So the players, yes, definitely have to take some blame. But I think it's a pivotal moment for everyone associated with Liverpool Football Club. FSG as owners, players with the World Cup year coming, Slot as manager, even the surrounding clubs around us, like Chelsea and Man United, they might get a new manager bounce now, which will put our form into even more pressure and scrutiny. So I think the next few weeks are very pivotal for the Liverpool Football Club.
Pivotal, Keith. Mo says, who's up in the the witness stand? What's going on, man? This next few weeks, Mo calls it pivotal for the futures of many people, questioning loads of people from the top to the bottom. Where are you at with all this? What are you anticipating? Where do you think this is going towards? Where's the mood music?
Look, I think the mood, if we go for the mood music, it's not one of, steel pans and, maracas and having a good time. I think the mood music right now is very much a case of we're in a dogfight and this is just what happens. I think, I don't know. For me, I find some of the criticism a little bit like, I have two ways of seeing this, right? I understand that people don't enjoy the football at the moment because we're in a dogfight. I don't think we've earned the right to play the style of football that people contest that we should be playing. For example, I don't think we have earned the right this season to play the same football as Arsenal, which is high pressing, win the ball back, energy, everything's happening. That's not our season. And I think a lot of people maybe thought it could be our season based on the fact that we brought all these new players in, and then we went on that 5 to 7 game winning run. I think we won 7 games in a row. Even I was overly gassed by it. But I think the market has kind of leveled out. And I think this season and everything that's happening within this season was what was really going to happen. I don't see Liverpool at this moment in time. When I look at the 3 clubs above us, I see consistency, I see continuity, I see they've got their biggest players, their best players, fit, firing, on it, right? Those are what I see with the 3 clubs above us. The clubs below us, I see as all in a dogfight of a season, right? And unfortunately, we're on the wrong side of that this season. You know what I mean? And because we're on the wrong side of that, this Premier League season is nasty. Let's make no bones about it. It's a nasty Premier League season. There's a lot of teams that, whereas I feel like before a lot of teams played a certain system in a certain way not to get relegated, I think there's better teams doing that maybe are better than getting relegated. So kind of mid-table teams who are also an absolute bastard to play against this season. That's just the reality of the situation. And when you have those kind of seasons, you're going to get into you're involved in a dogfight if you're not perfect. And I don't think Liverpool necessarily recruited perfectly this season. Do I agree with the direction of travel we went post Trent Alexander-Arnold? That's a conversation. There's so many conversations you could have. But one thing that I will say, and I feel like, Grizz, we almost saw this coming. Do you remember right at the back in the day, funny enough, someone speaks about your channel. You used to do the phone-in channels, right? You used to do the calling Khan, right? And you used to have General. General was with you. General used to be quite a big part of the show, etc. And when Arne Slot first came in, General used to say, I just don't like the way we play. I don't like the style. The style's not, it's boring, it's slow, it's this, that, and the other. And he said that before the title race, and then we won the title.
When we won it, he was saying it when we won it.
I don't think right now Liverpool fans like the way that we play football. I think we've had a set style of play embedded in Klopp over the last X amount of years, and Slot managed to kind of carry it on the basis of having one player. The club have decided not to change that talent of that one player. Think about it. We used to send direct balls to Trent, Henderson long balls, Van Dijk cross balls, Thiago's direct passes. We have so many players that play direct football. We have none of that now. And I don't think the fans enjoy that as a football. Do I think we score goals? I think we score goals. I think we can get results. Can we get a result against Arsenal? We've got results this season. We've beaten teams that are in and around kind of in the Arsenal situation, right? We just went away to Inter Milan not so long ago and got a result there. So it's possible to get the result. I just don't think fans like the football.
Ben, you definitely don't like the football. Do you think and I'm going to ask you to try to be sort of fair about it. Think about it, or you don't. Just say what you think. Actually, fuck it. But do you think this is the way he wants to end up playing, or do you think it's one of those ones he shit the bed, we lost all those games, picked up all those injuries, and now he's just doing what we've got to do? Like, like let's rough it out until we get all our players back. Have a little bit of a break with the FA Cup week coming up, 2 weeks, build up our fitness again, and then I'll show what actually I want to play. Or do we, and I always ask this question, guys, and I want you all to think about this, do we know what Slot's style is? Like, what is it? Because we don't. Because the first season, we're still saying it's a Klopp style, or it was a continuation of the Klopp players.
60%
Muscle memory from Klopp's team, from Klopp's players, right? From Klopp's instructions, maybe as well, right? So we win the league. This season, it's unraveling that Slot has a total different philosophy, right, to Klopp.
The team is a reflection of him. You know what I mean? Look, it's the signings are good. For me, look, I can see people going after Hughes and Edwards. But unfortunately, they don't set the fucking team up, mate. It's as simple as that. The team, the way they're set up now, is the sign of a manager who's petrified to lose his job and petrified to lose. Hence why Liverpool weren't running out the box to fucking close the Fulham player down. Reed, they were shithouse and they sat in the box. May as well have put tents up because they weren't willing to leave. They were ready to stay there overnight. Do you know what I mean? And that's how I think it is, mate. The football was never full on attacking, was it? He made little tinkers to Klopp's thing. I get it. He calmed it down. But one thing's for sure is he said things that have come true, and the things that are backfiring on him. He said Liverpool, they were asking him early on when he joined the club, what did Liverpool do wrong? And he said they played too many risky passes. Now we play none. Do you know what I mean? Liverpool don't play anything risky, and I think that's what keeps alluding to a minute ago with the directness of the balls. They don't want to do that. They fuck around with it. Look at that Sunderland game. There were 7 minutes added on. 5 of them was Gravenberch and McAllister fucking passing sideways and not forward. Liverpool's supposed to be going to win that game. You know what I mean? So it's things like that where fans are losing interest. And when the Anfield crowd starts losing interest, because the writing's on the wall. And I know people have got this talk about he sees the season out. I don't think he does. I think he goes soon. Because I think the firing line has been made whereby they've got rid of that Aaron Briggs and now it's all on Slot now. He was going to go if Salah didn't speak out, mate. Simple as that. He had to. Liverpool have been shite this year. Let's call it for what it is. It's not good enough. Any manager who's at Liverpool right now with these results and this, I could deal with getting beat, Chris. We can't deal with not even going forward. Do you know what I mean? We go sideways, lad. And I know we score goals in that, but let's be honest. How many chances have we seen in the last couple of games that Liverpool have created? There's not many, Chris. There's not many. If we were peppering the goal, you could understand if you could see the worldie at the end. But Liverpool aren't. Do you know what I mean? They shit the pants when they get in the opposition box. Do you know what I mean? So, it's one of them. I'll tell you what, I'm really proud of fucking Florian Wirtz lately because he's took a lot of shit and he's one of the ones that's trying to drive the team forward. Curtis Jones as well. And for me, they are a carbon copy of the manager. He doesn't say boo to a goose, and neither does this team, lad. There's no fight in them. And they look like a team, exactly what McAllister said the other day when he said, I know there was a little dig at the manager, but he said, we're probably not going to win the league. And that's exactly what this team looks like. They've given up. And I think it's because of him. I really do. Keith, I get what you're saying and all that, but mate, look, he stands with his hands in his pockets on the side, lad. And this team basically does the same, lad.
Look, for that, I think to your point, right? To suggest that everything's like everyone's down tools and gone to shit, I think it's a bit unfair on this lot. To be perfectly honest with you, I can understand if the way that Liverpool
does he motivate you though, Keith? Would he motivate you?
Well, he must motivate the players to be able to go out there and turn what was ultimately his nail in the coffin after the PSV game. You can't suggest that a manager, the manager was like, but he was dead and buried, right? So this manager who was dead and buried in this run, right? Then goes around, turns it around, manages to get obviously Liverpool to winning games. Okay, yes, we've drawn games, the last 2 games, gets on a 4-winning run. based on the background of everything that's happened this season alone, which we've all discussed was going to be detrimental, right? The big change, like McAllister's a great example, right? Alexis McAllister said a lot in that without saying much, because you can say, we're not going to win the Premier League because of what exactly? Because you didn't come back fit, right? You look like you're running in quicksand. There's a lot of players, in my opinion, who have not stepped up to the level necessary to be trusted by Arne Slot. And if I was to say that Arne Slot's tactics don't always yield results, and it's been a completely shit year, I would have to disagree with that. We've beaten big teams. We've beaten Arsenal. We've beaten Real Madrid. We've beaten Inter Milan. We've beaten Atletico Madrid. We've won some big games this season, right?
Half of them in Europe.
If a manager really, in the way that you just described it, if a manager truly is to that extent that bad, then A, he should have been gone ages ago, and B, he doesn't get the results he does get this season.
But Keith, this run that you've just said we've kind of turned the page. We haven't. We're fucking not winning games. The games that we played in this chunk of block, let's call it for what it is. Liverpool should be twatting them. That's the truth.
I don't think. Do you think that the players have earned the right to twat them this season?
It's not about that. But they should be beating these teams, Keith. They've played teams with 10 men and 9 men and been crap. Know what I mean? Let's call it for what it is. This is not good enough. These are champions of England, Keith.
But it's Arne Slot's fault then that, for example, in the build-up to the Harry Wilson goal, Gravenberch and Soboslai, who have not changed their positions, not changed their situations, are marking each other while the ball gets played, leaving Konate and everybody exposed. Is that necessary?
Keith, this is what, do you know what, Keith?
I think a lot of mine this season, I think the players are getting away with it with the fan base.
Of course they are, Keith. Of course they are. This is why the club needs to fucking get him out the club and put someone in charge till the end of the season so that every one of them fucking players knows that they're playing for their careers, lads. Up until now, the club are kicking the can down the road, lads. That's all they're doing. This manager, lad, you can tell now, if he carries on, you're going to have this trough shit all the time. Liverpool should be right up Arsenal's arses trying to win the Premier League. Which, in my opinion, right, and I don't want to keep on rambling on, Mosey here and Grizz is here, and Grizz has got his big blankets on. For my opinion, do you know what? They've done Slot a favour not bringing Mark Gay in, because if they would have brought Mark Gay in, Hughes and Edwards, there'd be less of a problem on their side. Do you know what I mean? So I understand he is a player or two short with regards to not replacing Luis Diaz, and they needed that centre half, but there shouldn't be a drop off like this. That's just my take on it.
I'm going to come to Mo in a minute for his opinion. Just going to go through a few comments. Good to see a few lads in the chat. Why can't I get the comments up? What's going on here? What have I done? Oops. I don't know what I've done. Okay, now they're coming up. Sorry. And after and which one came up? Fix up, Keith. After all that. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Where was it? Yeah, nice.
That's what it's football is, though. You need opinions, Chris. If everyone's like the same, it's fucking crap, isn't it?
I agree.
Of course it is, and this is what we're here for. We're gonna hear another crap. I mean, another good opinion from Mo in a minute as well. Nice to see Frister rocking that naan bread. He says, Comey says we didn't get better since PSV and Forest, did we? Baby steps, I guess. We have Cecil says, sure, this season was going to have some growing pains, but there had to be something to hold on to. David says, shit football, no identity, and still not able to get the ball to the best players. Zero urgency, zero passion. We have a team of cowards. Asim from BNR says, who is the Tiger top left? Don't feel like a Tiger, son. Let me tell you that much. All right, lads, hit the like and subscribe. Anfield Raw says, big up Anfield Raw. We've got a super chat from Barrett who says, just saw an interview on Redmen with Paul Ghost where he says Slot's job is no danger whatsoever. Thoughts? The nature of loss at Arsenal will have some say in that. Slot lucky because the league is shit this season. Come to you, Mo. Paul Ghost, senior editor of at The Echo, I believe. Still, if my memory serves me right, suggesting that as far as he thinks or knows or hears, Slot's hierarchy aren't thinking about a change. But Barrett's viewpoint is when, he didn't say if, he said when we get smashed tomorrow, it might change a few minds and views. So are we getting smashed tomorrow? Is his job on the line? What's the tipping point? basically Keith and Ben gave their opinions, slightly opposing. There is a middle ground. Where are you at?
Well, first of all, how am I supposed to follow them two? That was wicked. That was I was ready for my popcorn. I was just sitting back watching that back and forth. That was good. That was box office. But look, I'm on.
But it's one of those opinions, isn't it? It splits. It's one of those topics that is, because we're so passionate Liverpool fans, and we all want the best for Liverpool Football Club. We all want to see our team win. It's just we all have different levels of tolerance, different levels of patience, and maybe different levels of understanding of how we understand the situation of the game, right? It's normal.
Yeah, definitely. Like I'm on more Slot out, but I do sympathize with Slot. Okay, so I'm definitely, if I was to pick a corner, I'd be picking Ben's corner right now. I agree more with what Ben says. However, I do sympathize with Slot, and that sympathy comes from he's never had this kind of adversity in his managerial career ever. He's walked, he won the league, but the second season, he's had a generational talent, a local boy leave on a free. He's had a talent pass away, rest in peace. That's affected not just the players, but the whole club and fan base. He's had contracts to be put out. Talk about Mo again. It's everything's been thrown at him. But ultimately, he's responsible for sending that team out to fight for him. There's a clip going around on social media at the moment. I think it was against Leeds, 92nd minute under Klopp, and there's 4 Liverpool players hounding a Leeds player, and Klopp gets off his bench going, yeah, I love it, and brilliant. That's the kind of passion that's been taken out of it. And with regards to that, you only do that for your manager. Now, we all work. We may work for people, we may work for ourselves. But let's just say, hypothetically, we work for someone. And if your manager is a bit of a prick, you're still going to work, but you're not going to give it all. If your manager is safe and sound, you're going to give him or her the best. And I think that also relates to football. If the manager is not, or the coach is not getting his ideas across, either the players are all thick as shit and they don't understand football, or the manager is a bad coach and he can't coach them properly. So one of them's got to give. Now, I believe, hand on heart, that FSG will give him till the end of the season. You know, they see him as an interim. He also looks like a man who knows he's not going to be here next season. But I think that's been accelerated now. If results don't improve in the next 3 to 5 games, we could see him go 3 games even, I reckon. They're gonna judge him over. And if it's a bad 3 games, then I think he's gone.
Keith, is there a tipping point for you? I know you're more in favor of persisting with him. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think so. You're persisting with him. Give your rationale, reasons for that for now.
Look, I think if you had asked me this after the PSV game, I would have said it was game over. And the fact that the club didn't take the decision at that time gave him the stay of execution. Now, what that run of what was, I mean, if we just talk about the Premier League, was basically a car crash in London over 4 weeks where we went up there 4 times and lost 3 times. If you can take that bad situation, that bad moment, and he can turn it around and continue to, win games, right? Go out there against Arsenal, shock everybody. Everybody, even Arsenal fans are kind of saying, it's not that big a deal because of Liverpool's situation. We're going to thrash Liverpool. It surprised me a lot that for people to say that, because Liverpool, this squad of players are more than capable of getting a result against Arsenal. And Arne Slot is more than capable of coaching a result against Arsenal at the Etihad. For me, where I see where he lives and dies by, forget the Premier League. The Premier League, the top 4 is going to be a chaos as long as you finish 4th or 5th. For me, it's Champions League. Champions League is the number 1. If Arne Slot can get a run going in the Champions League, then I believe that he will have that stay of execution. I think that's what he will ultimately be judged from FSG for this season. It will all depend on whether he can get this team saying, you know what, and we've been here before. I've seen worse squads of Liverpool win the Champions League. Can he get a tune out of them in Europe? So far, he's beaten the big teams kind of less or so against the small teams. Qualify us, get us to the Champions League. If he can get a run going on there, then I think that's how he saves his job. Otherwise, based on the hearing that now Luis Enrique is going to be available in the summer and this, that, and the other. I think if it just kind of whiffs off into a damp whimper, maybe we get fourth, maybe we get fifth, we get knocked out the Champions League, we get knocked out the FA Cup, etc., then, you know, that will be his last season at Liverpool for sure. So for me, it's the Champions League. It's the most important competition. It's the most important games. And it's probably going to be the biggest test of his character, because ultimately it will have to be him to galvanize a group of players to think and believe that they can go on and win the Champions League. Many of the players have quoted it. I believe personally that if you ask the players point blank in the summer, what would you rather win in 2026, the Premier League or the Champions League, they will tell you the Champions League. And that's probably why I believe FSG have persisted with him. And you know what? I will persist with him if that's the way the club's going, to see if he can pull this off.
I don't think it's dependent on the Champions League scenario. I think, do you know what, Keith? The league is bread and butter for a club like Liverpool Football Club.
Is it though? Is it?
For sure, bro. For sure. After the
modern thing, honestly, Liverpool in the Champions League, in my opinion, for this generational, maybe a generational chasm here. But for me, if Virgil van Dijk has his hands on big ears come May, I couldn't care less who wins the Premier League.
But you're only saying that because of the shit that we're doing.
Yeah.
That's why you're saying it. Otherwise, you wouldn't say that. Be honest with yourself. You wouldn't say that. Basically, you've got the mentality of some of these players, basically. You've given up on the league.
You know what? They lifted the Premier League title last year. Yes, you can make 1,000 arguments. The Premier League is the hardest thing to win. Okay? Hardest trophy to win. And Premier League, to win the Premier League, to fight for a Premier League, you have to be in good health. You have to be in the right moments. You have to have your best players on form, on fire, and you have to have a bit of luck. Liverpool, for all intents and purposes, have had none of that. So they're in a dogfight. The Premier League is a dogfight. We're fighting for fourth and fifth this season. Forget third, second, first, in my opinion. I came to peace with that a long time ago. I just never thought. Going into this season, I did not believe that Liverpool, mano for mano, player for player, with everything that was going on, were equipped to win the Premier League. No way. Especially after stuff like the Mark Gahey deal goes down, and you look at the squad, you think, oh wow, we spent all this money.
See, that's different. That's different. If you didn't see that, I didn't know that. That's different, because many people, like Ben, I'll go back to Ben, thought the opposite. You thought, oh, we've done the business, we're going to smash the league. So then maybe Keith, you have a point then where different people had different perceptions of how the transfer window's gone and what state of health we actually are. Because I'm actually a little bit with Keith there, because I didn't think it was a 10 out of 10 window. I wasn't gloating as much as everyone else. And people know on my channel I was saying it. I was saying, oh, it's a bit profile for profile. I don't like the players. I love the names and I love the banter that we had with the rival fans. We've got Verts, we've got Isak, Newcastle fans in the mud, blah, 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 everything else, you know. But if you analyze the dealings and the actual profile of players, I wasn't sure. I wanted a DM. I definitely wanted a centre-back. And I definitely wanted a Luis Diaz replacement. So maybe Ben, expectations need to change as fans as well then sometimes. But I think you're not interested in the expectation. I think you're just bothered and worried about the style. And I think that's what's bugging you the most, isn't it? Because look, you're right. We can change expectations during the season.
It's just a drop off in general, Chris. Like, you know, Liverpool players, they're not looking interested, and I think it's a reflection of what's being said to them. The one thing with Jurgen Klopp, we shouldn't really keep comparing Jurgen Klopp, but we have to. Who's the previous fucking manager? During this tenure, if Liverpool was stinking the house out in the first half, Chris, we'd all go, get them in at half time, and he'll put a rifle up them. We come out in the second half, we look worse, Chris. Do you know what I mean? Talking of the summer, Chris, I never said it was a 10 out of 10. I knew we needed the centre half. We didn't get it through the fucking door. And I knew we needed to replace Luis Diaz. But ultimately, Chris, it's not a bottomless pit. Liverpool couldn't have just spent $1 billion. Do you know what I mean? So now in football, Chris, for 500 million, if you go and spend that, you don't get much change out of it. Let's be real now. So you can't just do your whole rebuild in 1 year. Do you know what I mean? So it's unfortunate that, you know, our biggest problem was we brought in some amazing talent, but we lost some top talent as well. Do you know what I mean? So when you put it together, this team was always going to need a bit of time to settle in. Of course,
we replaced. We didn't reinforce.
No, one came in, one went out. It was that kind of situation. Arsenal added on top of what they had last year, and that's what's driving them on this year. They've got about 200 centre halves and about 200 forward players and 100 midfielders. So I get short in the left wing. I get, blah blah blah. But the problem is, though, my problem is with the manager is he doesn't know what team he wants. Doesn't know which right back he wants to go with. Doesn't know which left back he wants to go with. And, if you can't give a youth, like Keith, I just certain things, Keith, I agree with. You know what I mean? I like Keith. Do you know what I mean? If I didn't like Keith, I wouldn't be on the show with you. Do you know what I mean? Keith's a top lad. But even Keith would probably say, why is he not using Rio at times? Why is he not fucking giving Chiesa a go? The other day was probably one of the best opportunities at Fulham, Chris, to play either Rio or a Chiesa. Florian Wirtz took a load of shit again. And he wasn't 100%, Chris. If Ekitike was fit, Wirtz would not have played. He brought that conversation up, didn't he, where he said the hamstring. That was him kind of saying he may not play. But he forced him to play. We brought a number 10 who's played right wing, fucking left wing, false 9s, 10s. This is the problem with Slot. And that's my problem with it. He looks like a fella who hasn't got a clue. And look, I'd love him nothing more to turn it round, Chris. I don't like us talking like this about Liverpool. We should be talking about how we're going to go to the Emirates and put it on them. But to expect that, it's probably the wrong time, isn't it? Because, Chris, sorry, just before you move on, it's even in our best times, it's been a tough ground. And it's the same way for them coming to Anfield. Do you know what I mean? So, the one thing where I disagree with Keith is we may have beat some big sides, of course we have. In Europe, it looks like the team is probably more set up for that snatch and grab type of thing. But in the Premier League, Chelsea, Man United and shit like that, we've been garbage in. Do you know what I mean? And top 4, it's not a guarantee. They're probably going to get some sort of bounce. And that's the problem that Liverpool have got for me. But look, I love him to turn it round, but I don't think he will. I said that the other month.
Let me just clear this stuff up. Have you heard the Enrique news? It's fake, guys. He hasn't refused any contract or anything. So don't always just read the first headline that you see on Twitter and go with it like Mo. It's fake news.
I did the same.
Mo,
I'm not going to hear the end of it.
You've heard the opinions of these lads, and I'm like, and I'm with Ben in terms of we don't want to talk about Liverpool in a negative way. We're not like, since we've known each other, we are not negative nannies. Like, just the 4 of us, for example, never mind the rest of the lads in the group. No one's a negative moaner, because you get certain types of fans that are just every season moaning, right? We know the characters on Twitter and X, wherever, just FSG, or they've got a player with an issue with a player, whatever, agendas, narratives. But there is causes of concern. But do you see the other side, that it's not, sometimes it's not as bad as it seems, like Slot says, or was it Klopp they said, and it's never as good as it seems as well. So maybe, for example, we won the title last season, and a lot of other rival fans were saying it's not a great league, guys. Liverpool have won the title. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe we were getting carried away, Mo, and we thought, all right, yeah, we won the league. And maybe this season we're not as bad because we've been shit, we've been blah, 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 but yet we're 4th. Yet we're literally still 4th and half the season to go, pretty much. So there is extremes, isn't there? And it's trying to find the balance, because we are allowed an off-season, right? Or is he, in this day and age, with the amount of money spent? Why is the pressure so much now then?
You just said it, the money spent. It's purely down to the investment made in the squad in the summer. And the worst thing that could have ever happened for Slot was to win the Premier League in his first season.
I was going to say, guys, imagine these last 2 seasons were reversed.
Then nobody would be moaning at all.
Imagine this was his first season.
Nobody would moan at all. No, that's my point I'm trying to make. The worst thing that could have happened to him, he came in, he won the league on his first attempt with 0 investment. Okay, now we've gone and spent a net spend of 260 odd million, and that's where the pressure comes. And from what we're led to believe, he's trying to implement his tactics. Like you said, he ran with what he had last year, made slight tweaks, which showed us that he was a great coach and showed us what he was capable of. Second half was to come out last year and blow away teams, and he made little subtle changes. He also showed us that he wasn't scared to make a decision, benching Kwanzaa after 45 minutes in Ipswich. So we learned a lot of things about him. But this season, he's trying to bring these new players in, his tactics in, his style of play, which doesn't suit the league anymore. This league, you can't win with slow pedestrian side-by-side passing possession. You can have 96% possession, in games, but if you don't take shots and score, you're not going to do it. What's the point of having possession stats? And that's the most frustrating. And like I said, you are right. How bad is the rest of the league if we're still fourth and we're moaning about how bad we are? But that just frustrates me even more because you've got 3 last-minute winners we've given away. About 7 or 8 points we've dropped needlessly. Needlessly. So add those 8 points to what we have now, we'll be like 3-4 points off Arsenal. So this is what pisses me off even more, But look, I think look at the amount of discourse within the fan base, not just online, but even in the ground as well. I go to a lot of games in the ground. There'll be people not arguing, but I'll give them time. And there's so much discourse. When it gets to that point, you probably do need a change. You probably do need a fresh face and new ideas.
We'll obviously this conversation will drag on with until there's a decision made. I personally think there isn't been a decision made. I know Ben thinks totally opposite. Let's see how it goes. I think a decision unless something drastic happens, like we do another 6 out of 9 losses, he's not getting sacked. I don't think, but I absolutely understand if we have another session of a section like we had 2 months ago, then he'll get sacked because no one survives that. You don't drag Liverpool through that kind of adversity and not get the sack. But look, Fulham was a bit of a weird game. Like Harry Wilson's goal, Ben, that was a stunning strike. Like the kid can play. He scored some bangers for us as well. Obviously, bad timing when he was coming through because he had the king in absolute prime form. He was never going to get a game. So he had to go pastures new, try pastures new. Good player. And then that bloody humdinger of a goal. If that kid tries that 100 times, he ain't doing it again. I'm telling you now, he ain't doing it again. Like that was a 1 in 100 strike. But we threatened controlling. The only thing I will defend, guys, and be a bit of a, throw the other side of the argument is he hasn't got without Isak, Ekitike, and Salah. That's our 3 potent, lethal goal scorers. That leaves Gakpo, who we know is anything but sort of lethal or has got any fight about him. So if you're without any of the other teams, pick and choose any team you want. Pick out their 3 strikers not playing, then they're not going to have much penetration. So this is where I'm ready to give him time to get his team because I don't think he's played his best team. And he's not going to get to play his best team, guys, because Isak's out for the season. So deep that. He's not going to play his best lineup once this season. I don't know if you guys agree with what the best lineup is. I don't know if you guys agree with what the best lineup is, but he won't. He won't get a chance to play his strongest lineup in one game this season.
Look, in terms of the lineup that he put out against Fulham, I was actually quite surprised that nobody spoke about the injuries. Like, it was almost like it didn't exist. Like, we listened all season, last season, that Arsenal did not have any fit strikers and they've got no strikers and and that's why they couldn't win the league. Yet, we went into the game against Fulham without a recognised centre forward. Call a spade a spade. And this is where I give Slot his grace. He goes into a game without a centre forward and we get 2 goals away against Fulham. Should have won the game. By the way, Mo, you literally quoted about 3-4 games there where we let it go. So we were in a commanding position. I think it's like the last 5 games we scored 2 or more. Was it? Yeah, 2 or more goals. No, 2 goals or more. Or 1 or more. I think it's like 2 goals in the last 4 games or whatever. Basically, to the point I'm trying to say, the team still score goals. The team still score enough goals, in my humble opinion, to have win a lot of football matches that they have gone on to lose or draw this season. the Leeds game, for example, was one of the ones where I think I probably lost my head a little bit. I think a lot actually in that Leeds game. That was probably one of the most disappointing. And that's why I pull it back, Grizz, to the players. I just don't see in these situations, you're telling me that we're not coaching to win football matches. Then you're telling me at the same time we're going 2-0 up. In the case against Leeds, we're going 3-2 up, and then we're still coming away with a draw or with a defeat, or we're taking the lead in certain games and then we're going behind. Like, and then I'm looking at the goals that then we're then conceding. I'm thinking to myself, but like, I expect so much better from you. You know, I look at the likes of Ibrahim Konate. I expect so much better from you. I look at Gravenberch in defensive situations. I expect better from you in those situations. I expect better from McAllister, even Mo Salah. Mo Salah, god of a football player and one of the best to ever do it. And just a quick one, because I never really gave my opinion on that. I think Slot got it wrong because of his communication to Salah. I don't necessarily think Slot was necessarily wrong to try something different with Salah about to go to AFCON, especially as he wasn't playing well either. So I think there's certain players that have been off form, but then again, if it's a coaching issue, more players should be off form. But Hugo Ekitike is finally having a top season at a top club. Something like Luis Enrique, I believe, maybe with a Pochettino, I can't remember who was there at the time, Tuchel maybe, was at PSG, couldn't get that out of Hugo Ekitike. Florian Wirtz is coming to the club. For all intents and purposes, goal assist aside, he's been, as you said, Ben, he's been really, really good. Gravenberch has been scoring goals. Dominic Szoboszlai's having the best season of his entire life and his entire career. There's a lot of players that are getting the best out of it. Even Cody Gakpo, for all intents and purposes, he may be the most frustrating player in the world, yet it's Hugo at the top with 10 goals, I believe, and Gakpo, I believe, with 8 goals this season. I think that's back-to-back goals since he came back from his injury. So, again, there are other players that seem to be really getting the best out of themselves in this situation. Liverpool seem to be putting themselves in situations that they should be winning, and then they're not winning it. So for me, that's where I see it. I see Liverpool.
But that goes back to the manager, Keith. You're going around in a circle and putting yourself in. You're asking the question, and the answer is Slot.
Then okay,
it is.
I personally.
Okay, so what's the answer then? So what's the answer to your question? You ask.
Are we also saying that we're getting our goal peppered? Because then obviously it is.
No.
Players are making bad decisions in defensive scenarios that are causing us to concede goals this season. Am I wrong in saying that?
No, you're right. You're right.
Do you know what?
You're absolutely right.
Can I just say on Keith's thing, the problem that we've got is there's too many of these games. Do you know what I mean? That's the only problem. There's a lot of scar tissue now, isn't it? So
there's too many of those games. Ben's right. Keith, I absolutely get your point. If it's a subsection of the season, I'm with you. If it's a patch of a bad month, every team has a bad month. Do you remember Man United used to have a mad when they were dominant, and they used to suddenly go and lose 1 week to Newcastle 3-1, next week to Southampton 5-1. Do you know what I mean? They used to have a couple of weeks, or every great team has a patch. But Keith, the evidence, the body of evidence is 15 months almost, man. Not in 15 months, 15 games people are talking about, sort of going back to last season's ending. Now, I know it's difficult to gauge because we were champions, but that's the body of evidence in front of us. He's won 5 out of last 15 games, Keith. How do you justify 5 games?
Well, let me say it like this. That 5 out of 15, when we're talking about the 15, we're also talking about the horror show, which was no wins in 9, or we lost 4 in a row, or that run, right? For me,
yes, that's what you have to pay gauge, but that's what you have to look at.
But that run aside, so coming out, we're probably out of that rut, and I'd say that rut, for me personally, took away his, when we say, okay, manager's got time because manager put Premier League on the table. Okay, manager put Premier League on the table. Okay, Slot put Premier League on the table. So for me, he had time. I think that goodwill that he had from the Premier League, and maybe Ben goes back to your point about the scar tissue, that's where I feel like that run, that Premier League stuff got taken off the table. And it's kind of like, okay, now you're in survival mode, right? Now it's like, it's sink or swim, right? With the fan base. I'm talking specifically with the fan base, right? That kind of been taken away. even for me to a certain extent, as I said, I thought he'd go after the PSV game. So he's got that goodwill from me because he was able to turn it around. And I believe that he has been unlucky as a manager this season. I think he's been very unlucky. I don't think he's a bad coach. I don't think he's necessarily a bad tactician. I don't even think he makes us play really bad football. What I will say is that it has been a dogfight. And when you're in a dogfight, it's fucking horrible to watch. And we've been here before. Under Klopp, we've been here before. And it's how you get out of that slog, which will ultimately see what happens to him on the other side for sure.
This is what we're gonna end this segment with. I'm gonna agree with you because I don't think he's a bad coach, and I don't think he's a bad all of that, and I think he has been unlucky. But to caveat that, ultimately his head will be on the chopping block if he has another set of results like this. And that's the way football works. We all grown up enough to know. Doesn't matter if we think or not. That's how football works. But Ben, people have been talking about, and it's right, it's true. We've had a very, very nice fixture list for the last 8-9 games. But now, if we remain unbeaten and win a few games in our next 4 or 5, which includes City, Arsenal, obviously, Spurs,
Newcastle.
Brighton, I think as well. Newcastle, sorry.
Newcastle,
yeah. If we win if this run continues now, Ben, then surely your mind will change in terms of, all right, let him get everyone back and see what version of football he really wants to implement. Because this is not his version. This is survival mode. He shat the bed. He needed to save his job. And he saved his job by playing bottom low tier football. But if we do survive, Ben, and look, we don't know. Let's see how it goes the next 5-6 games. But the fixtures aren't easy now. So we can't use that as a stick to beat him with if he carries on. Starting with Arsenal Thursday. Can we get something?
I'd love us to get something, Chris, because I believe Liverpool have got to disrupt Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? They've got to make it hard for them to beat. I can understand that game and being very negative in the game. We've got to try and make it difficult. I'd love us to put the shits up Arsenal. I don't expect us to go there and start playing free-flowing football. It's not going to happen. You're going to see Liverpool try and snatch and grab something, and it's fair enough. And that's kind of the team. It's that type of team now that picks itself, isn't it? We're not fit with abundance, and he doesn't trust Chiesa and fucking Rio, so it's probably going to be a similar lineup to the one the other day. But this is it. We've scraped through games recently in the easier fixtures. But this is where, it could get bad for them again, Chris. Because let's be honest. I've said
as much as I'm saying it can get good for him, you're right. This could be the end for him as well. Because if Newcastle turn us over, if Arsenal turn us over, if City turn us over, that's another 3 defeats there in the next month that we can potentially see, right? The way we're playing.
Look, Liverpool may have gone a bit more deeper, Chris, but they still can see goals. So not much has changed. So let's be honest, Chris. If we're gonna be honest about it, it's just a matter of time before this team gets beat again. You can see it. I felt that I was doing the show the other week on my channel, Meadow Live TV, if anyone doesn't know. And I just felt like this Arsenal game could be the one that spirals it again. Because I think if Liverpool get beat by Arsenal, the heads are gone. Even worse. Do you know what I mean? And that's the problem that he's got. Because I don't think he's a great manager. I think he struggles to motivate them. Hence why you see in the second half, they come out a bit worse. But look, if he can turn it round, great. I'd love him to turn it round. Do you know what I mean? We don't want to be. We're not a sacking club, are we? We're not just having a go fucking that slot because we want to have a go. We're having a go because the football's dross, and Liverpool should not be in a dogfight with them 2 shit teams in Chelsea and United. They're garbage. Both of them are beat us, by the way. So, look, some tough games. Because look, even Newcastle. Never mind Newcastle. That Burnley game's going to be tough. We've got to break them down. We're shite at breaking teams down at the minute. We're not creating enough chances. So, for me, it's just kicking the can down the road, Chris, and it's going to be tough. And I don't know what to expect, but I think we'll get a pasting on Sunday, unfortunately.
Thursday.
What did I say? Sunday? Hopefully it gets moved to Sunday so we can have a few more days to fucking think about it.
No, watch Liverpool. Mo, what do we need to do to go and get a result at Arsenal then in that case? What kind of lineup do we know? Do we pick? I don't think we've got much choice. I don't want to have the same chat about trusting Rio and Chiesa because this is, I think
they're not going to start. It's going to be
no,
relatively
it's
the
just
same.
behind the scenes stuff, man. They just doesn't trust, either of them. And is that a sporting director's problem or is that Slot problem? And they didn't sort that shit out because it's not healthy. It's not fair on the players. It's not fair on the coach. It's not fair on everyone, basically. They're just taking up you two spots, basically. Rio might as well go on loan. Chiesa might as well F off back to Italy or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what's the point? Literally, what is the point of keeping them and have kept them? Same with Endo as well. So it does seem like there's a bit of a rift. And it's never been that case. Well, there was rumours about Edwards and Klopp as well. I think there were more than rumours. But then Klopp won that battle. And Klopp ended up in charge of everything. Slot hasn't got anywhere near that type of clout. In that case, if you turn up against, or if you go up against the sporting director and don't pick the players, and then the results are bad as well, there's only one loser, right? In that situation. Or do you have any sympathy for him? Because if he doesn't want those players, why are you forcing them on him?
Because it's the Liverpool manager job. Who's not going to take the Liverpool coach job? This is the aftermath or probably the effects of having this new structure of football in place, which a lot of European clubs do, where
all the big clubs do it.
All the big clubs, yeah, where Edwards calls the shots. Klopp was a manager. Klopp had more shot calling, That's why him and Edwards didn't work together. Slot is a yes man, I'm afraid. And, I think those discussions about transfers probably went like, these are the players we're going to try and get for you. Can you work with them? Yes or no? Yeah, yes. And I don't think he had much say on his own players. It was like, tell us what kind of style you want. We'll profile the players for you. And I think that was the kind of approach because he's just a yes man. But as for what kind of team we're going to pick, is Hugo available now or is he out?
I don't think he makes it.
Just a quick one. No one of them fantasy footy things. One of them things. Said Conor Bradley pulled him out. If that's anything to go by, fuck knows. That's the way football's gone, isn't it?
So Bradley's out as well, is he?
No. He's saying Bradley didn't put him in his FPL.
Oh, okay. Look, if Hugo, we need a striker, put it that way. But if he doesn't play, it's going to be relatively the same team. Maybe the question mark is whether Robbo comes in for Kirkes, and does Maka drop out for Wirtz or a 5-man midfield even, I don't know. And that's if Ekitike is fit. If Ekitike is not fit, I won't be surprised if we see a false 9 and Flow then, But I don't know. What's your opinion, guys?
I just can't see how he's going to change anything from the team he played against Fulham, which is kind of crazy. But this is what he's left with, really. He doesn't trust Chiesa. I mean, you just barely about trust him to start him against, was it Wolves? Did he start him against Wolves? I think that's the only time he started in the season.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he did.
That's pretty mental to only trust him to start him against the worst team in the league. So, and that tells you all you need to know about that. I think Rio Engamara, I just don't think that he wants to put him in this level of firing line at the moment. Do you know what I mean? And so it's going to be up to the players. And if you look at the 11 that Slot is going to put on the pitch on Thursday, this is an 11, majority of them won the Premier League last season. And I think they need to start acting like it a little bit more. And I actually think the players, this is one of those games that they're actually going to be up for. I think it's more of a, like results, things that happened before, where you are in the Premier League doesn't really matter when you're in these big games. You know what I mean? Wherever you are, you always kind of step up to them. But unfortunately, I don't think we score enough from set pieces, and I don't think that we are brave enough to see out a game and see out any type of clean sheet. So, I expect we're going to see the same team, but unfortunately, I don't see a positive result coming. I know we can do it, but I just feel like this is going to be the start of the long march for Arsenal to get the Premier League title. We're two-legged, we're too jaded. You know, this is not the team that this is not the first 11 that Slot would put out. Let's call a spade a spade. We've gone to Cody Gakpo back in the number 9 position, which has just been dreadful. It was a dreadful experiment when Klopp tried it. It's going to continue to be a dreadful experiment. I don't think it works, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm not feeling too confident about the team we're putting out, to be honest. But it will be the same 11.
I guess we have to end the show with a prediction to see how we're feeling. We're really feeling, put our necks on the line. Nobody ever likes to sort of predict a negative scoreline. But Ben, Arsenal, Liverpool.
Unfortunately, I think there's too much damage to this Liverpool team. And I don't think the manager's capable of going there and winning. I think Arsenal beat Liverpool 3-1, unfortunately, lads. I think their tails are up. They're going for that league title. And they're making a big fucking hoo-ha, aren't they? Light shows and whatever. They're just the blaggest fucking firm ever. Do you know what I mean? But unfortunately, Grizz, they are the champions elect, aren't they? They're playing good football at the minute. Their players are ready to go. We're the ones they want to beat. We've got the target on our back, and I think this is the game that could spiral Liverpool. And I it's not nice to see a manager sack, but I think he goes in the next couple of games because I think there's a few defeats coming, unfortunately. And I hate saying that. You know, I'm usually one with good. I like a positive scoreline, but I just think this game, I would expect if Liverpool concede early, Chris, it could be on the back of an Iden. Because you could see it happening, Chris. Do you know what I mean? Their crowd will get up for it. Their players will. And Liverpool just don't look like a team that wants to go the extra yards. And I think if the manager's struggling to get them up, the lesser games, he's going to have a hard task against this Arsenal side, mate. And maybe that's the way it's going to go, unfortunately.
I was telling Turkish on the Big Six that Arsenal at home for the last decade or so has been one of my favourite fixtures because I knew we were going to smash the shit out of them. I used to love it. I used to make sure I go to every Arsenal game at Anfield because I knew we were going to turn them over. Whatever happens, we're going to win 4-1.
Very weak underbelly, weren't they, before Arteta?
Yeah. Hey?
Are you going Thursday?
No, I'm working. I'm at the mob in a watch along for we do the watch along from the Big Six. So, yeah, I'm not going to be there, but I don't think I would want to go to this game, to be honest with you. And you know what? And he said to me, you know what, Grizz, you're right. And I don't only want to beat you lot. I want Arsenal to take out the revenge of the last, you know, how many years you used to take the piss out of us. He goes, we used to go there at Anfield, know that we're going to get smashed. And he goes, we've got the energy and vibe about us now that we want to smash you lot. So we're not their fiercest rivals, it's Man City right now in terms of the race or whatever, but they've got this mentality where they want to smash the shit out of us because we've been bullying them for the last decade at Anfield, scoring 3s and 4s. Do you remember? Every game, 3-4, Mane, Bobby, Salah, like easy, light work. But they're going to be up for it tomorrow. They're absolutely up for it. And look, people, I can't stand the Arsenal fan base. I can't stand that manager. But they're the best team in the league, man, and they're going to win. And I called it, they're going to win the league a long time ago. And people are saying, oh, how can you say this? Well, look at the table now. I said City are not that City. And we've obviously shown ourselves. Mo, is there any positivity coming out of your prediction? Anything? Do you see it? Is there light at the end of the tunnel?
Mate, I'd love to, like Ben, I'd love to get a result on Thursday, mainly because I'm going to be there.
So am I. I'm going to be with you.
Yeah, we're both going to be there, isn't it? So,
unfortunately.
Yeah. But
guys, if you go with this attitude, you guys might as well stay home, both of you. If you're going to go there miserable and sit
there. No, I'm going to go tomorrow.
It'll be a good day out anyway.
I'm a realist. I just like you said it already. Arsenal are mentality-wise, they're mentality monsters right now, and we're the totally opposite. Okay, whether by hook or crook, Arsenal will grind out our results, whether it's a boring 1-0 or they'll get lucky or play well and get 4 corners and win 4-0. You know, but I just generally think that the good vibes and the feel-good factor is with them at the moment. The luck is with them at the moment. The mentality is with them at the moment, and everything. Those 3 things is not with us. So I just think we're gonna lose, and I think it's going to be a statement win for Arsenal. I think it's going to be 3-0, I'm afraid, to Arsenal.
3-1. 3-0. Mr. Cross.
I 100% believe we are going to get a chance quite early on in that game. The same way when we scored that goal against Manchester City. And if we do not take that chance, or we get a situation like Manchester City, we will lose 3-0. If we take that chance and we go 1-0 up, then I believe that we can win the football match. I believe if Liverpool can go 1-0 up and get the first goal, we win. If we don't, it's going to be a Man City all over again. It will be a hiding. The first goal, I've never thought the first goal was as crucial as it is in this game. If we get the first goal, tails are up, I think we can win that football match. I think we can inject enough fear into Arsenal, but they score first, they get an early goal. I think it's going to be similar. Do you remember that one when we lost? I think it was 3-1 when Darwin Núñez scored, and then Diaz got that injury from Thomas Partey for the season, and they beat us 3-1. It was quite comfortable. It was quite convincing. And the Klopp, when we finished, I think that was the season we finished 5th. I think that was that season. It will be another one of those. I think they'll just destroy us if they score first.
There we have it, people. I'm sorry we couldn't conjure up a prediction of a win between us because I'm not predicting a win. I'm going to predict a draw.
Way!
Which will be a win. Because it will mean I'm beaten in 10. And the show must go on.
It'll be funny if we get points and we score from corners as well against them.
People, listen, we gave our opinions. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Subscribe, like if you haven't already. Sorry, I'm feeling a bit mashed up today, but I thought I still got to do a show. It's freezing outside. Stay warm, stay blessed wherever you are. And if you're sitting anywhere where it's nice and warm, then you know what I mean, stop showing off. Nobody likes to show off. Anyway, peace, love, and tranquility to you. Take care. Up the Reds. We go again.